Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Cage. I'm your host, Jim Graham, and joining me today on the line, we have a special guest. He will be fighting Jared Rosholt on the pay-per-view main card of UFC 193 from Melbourne, Australia. He is the skyscraper Stefan Struve. And Stefan, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Now, Stefan, in your last fight against Nogueira, you mentioned it was the first time in a long time that you've been able to have a normal fight camp, and now, just a few months later, you're able to get right back in action against Jared Rosholt. So how good does it feel to finally be back in the swing of things and get your career back to normal?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's for me, it's not an issue anymore. I don't think about it anymore. It's behind me, and you know, I made a move to the U.S. to train with the Blackzilians, and that's one of the best decisions, probably the best decision I've made in my training camp, in my career so far. And yeah, I just feel great, and it's great to be you know, be in a rhythm again and to fight 3.5 months after my last fight. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday to show how much I've improved.
Now, in your fight against Nogueira, you threw a lot of combinations, punches and kicks and everything but the kitchen snake animal. I was wondering if you were discouraged at all that you weren't able to get the finish against him.
Well, you know, you never know what happens. I hit him with everything I had, and I wobbled him at least like 10 times in that fight. That man is as tough as they come. And, you know, I finished 28 of my 30 pro wins, so I know when someone's supposed to go down, but he just didn't want to go down. And, you know, in the end, after the fight, turns out he retired. And so for him, I'm happy he went to go out like this, you know, to put up a good fight against a young, hungry fighter. And all good for him, man.
Now, not only did you fight a legend in Antonio Nogueira, you also got to fight in Brazil. So can you just explain what it was like to fight a legend like that, let alone in his home country of Brazil?
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to fight him, and to fight him in Rio was an amazing experience. Of course, the crowd wasn't with me, but all the fans I met before the fight and after the fight especially really respected me and were really cool to meet. Walking into the octagon, I got booed, you know, and you know we prepared for that. I put that in my head, and you know, for me that was no more than normal. If you're fighting a legend like that, you know, everything went great. It didn't faze me one bit, and you know, I got the win in the end. So.
Speaking of legends, a few days ago, Mirko has announced his retirement from the sport of mixed martial arts, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the career of Mirko?
People say his name, what I think, you know, he's also one of the greatest ever, you know, and it's unfortunate we don't get to see him fight one more time, you know, but if he feels his body's not working with him anymore, then, you know, it's time to go. You know, that's the decision is always up to the fighter. I've just like Nogueira, I've watched him fight since my early teen years. So to you know, finally see these guys go, it's a shame, but you know, I also hope they're really gonna enjoy the retirement now.
For your fight, Stefan, at UFC 193, it will be at Etihad Stadium, where they're expecting to have over 70,000 people. And have you ever fought anywhere close to this before?
I don't think anybody's ever fought in an arena this big. It's going to be a new record, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. It's going to be an amazing experience to look back on. So.
Now, with all those people expected to be in attendance, what do you think the crowd will be like when you walk out to the octagon for the first fight of the pay-per-view main card?
I think they're going to be pumped, and you know, as I said, I got 30 pro wins with 28 finishes, so I know the fans are excited to see me, and I'm going to hunt this guy down, and I'm going to finish him off too. So I've always got a really good crowd reaction walking out, and I think this is going to be, yeah, the amount of sound coming from the stands is just going to be insane.
Jim Graham talking with UFC heavyweight fighter Stefan Struve. You can follow him on Twitter at Stefan Struve, up ahead of his fight at UFC 193 against Jared Rosholt. And speaking of your opponent, Jared Rosholt, known for his wrestling, taking guys down, holding them there. So Are you expecting him to try to take you down as soon as possible in this fight?
Yeah, of course, that's his game. He's the wrestler, and of course he's got heavy hands too. But if I use my height and my reach, fight my fight, then he's not even coming near me. Same thing for the takedown, by the way. But he's gonna try and take me down for sure. The difference between me and the other guys he fought, they kind of like have the same style as him. They're big, strong guys who like to take people down and grind on them. But when they are taken down, they don't have much of a game on the ground. When he takes me down, I got a ton of submissions in my arsenal to attack him with. So even when he takes me down, he's in a world of trouble.
In Jared's last fight, he seemed to slow down significantly in the third round, and it almost cost him the win against Tim Johnson. So I was wondering if part of your strategy is trying to get him into the third round where you think you'll have better conditioning than him.
For sure, I'm a really good conditioned heavyweight. I can fight three 5-minute rounds, no problem. But the thing is, I like to finish fights in the first or second round. So I always try to avoid the third round to make quick work, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm definitely gonna push him because I know his cardio isn't great, and he'll fade soon. And even if he hasn't faded yet, I believe I'm gonna catch him with something. My striking is much better, and I'm gonna finish him off after catching him. So.
Also on UFC 193, there's another big fight in your division, the heavyweight division, a rematch between Mark Hunt and Antonio Bigfoot Silva, probably the greatest draw in UFC history the first time they fought. So I was wondering what you think will happen the second time around.
Yeah, it's a fun fight to watch. I really have no idea who's going to win. You saw that in the first fight too. It's a really equally matched fight. Yeah, no predictions from my side. Just I think the fans know that they're going to have a really fun fight to watch. It's going to be an excellent fight.
Much like your last fight, Stefan, the card you'll be fighting on will be headlined by Ronda Rousey. So I was wondering what you think will happen between Ronda and Holly Holm.
Holly's a great fighter. I really believe that she can offer Ronda a great fight and a great test. She really needs to use her stand-up. She's really good at keeping people off her. If she's really going to use her kicks, and I think she is, and her hands, and take it into the later rounds, then I'm really curious to see how Ronda's reaction is going to be. And I think, I think she's a 15-1 underdog, but I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's telling for the matchup. I think it's a lot closer than people think and believe.
Now, are there any other fights on the card that you're looking forward to seeing, Stefan?
I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the card after I knock this guy out. I'm just really looking forward to put down a great performance again, get my second win in a row, being back on track, and I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and enjoy all the fights. For the rest, I'm too focused on my own fight to be thinking of anybody else.
Now, this question's actually for my dad. He heard that I was interviewing the tallest man in the UFC, so he had to know, how big are your shoes?
I'm shoe size 14, so he'll enjoy being caught with that in his face today on Sunday.
Okay, Stefan, I'll get you out of here with this. Of course, kind of playing along with your shoe size there, being a big guy with Reebok coming in, handling the uniforms for the UFC. Did you enjoy wearing Reebok for your first time back at UFC 190, and was everything working for you then, and hopefully will work for you now for UFC 193 wearing that gear?
Yeah, it's no problem for me, and it's still a very new deal. They're working on all the designs and all that, and I tried my shorts on, and they made them real comfortable with high slit on the site, so I'm able to kick, move, and you barely feel that you're wearing the shorts. So, and that's a really important thing. So I think it's only going to improve, and I hope really good things come from that. So
once again, he is Stefan Struve. You can follow him on Twitter at Stefan Struve. And thanks again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it and look forward to your fight at UFC 193.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Was the skyscraper Stefan Struve right here on Beyond the Cage.